you know, this music is hard music. You know, someone who's played music before, this is hard music to play. This isn't a walk in the park. You know, you're not going up and just playing folk music where it's just, you know, it's airy and it's light. This is hard at this point where you're at. And we're very similar in age, because I saw when you were born.
Yep.
Is there a part of you that finds it harder to play, or is it more, you know, you've got to do certain things in terms of self-care to keep yourself at that level of musicianship?
Well,
Because
I personally,
it's very much a performance.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, no, death metal and the other kinds of extreme metal are really physical kinds of
Mhm.
music. I mean, first of all, just in the execution of it, and then also if you're doing a stage performance where you want to really be headbanging and moving around, that's all stuff it's physical, you
Sure.
know. And I mean, everything playing folk music is physical, but
Yeah.
for sure, what we're doing is probably going to get the sweat going a little more, you
Yeah,
know.
it's more
To,
from, like, you know, it's from power walking to, you know, 100 yard sprint.
yeah, we're like, it's the whole show. It's hard to think of the best analogy. The whole show is kind of a marathon, I guess, because we're playing like 75 to 90 minutes,
Yeah.
but each song is a sprint. So it's
Yeah.
almost like hit training
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or
Exactly.
something.
It's like hit training.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Exactly. Short bursts, but very effective.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of what the show is like. And for sure, you know, I've been doing this, all of us have been doing it for, yes, 3 decades plus at this point.
Crazy. Yeah.
And just like an athlete in his 20s in a, you know, like football or whatever is different from an athlete in his 50s,
Of course.
the same is true here. So we do have to kind of look out for our bodies and everything. Like, you know, the stuff you do in your 20s, drinking and whatever, not getting enough sleep, eating garbage food, you just can't do that.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
least I can't.
Yeah.
In my 50s, I really keep track of my health, and it's kind of a hobby too, you know. And I could go on and on about that, but I love to run, and that's one of the things that keeps me kind of focused and just having fun on tour, you know. Finding new places to run when I get
Right.
to a different city or whatever. And but but yeah, it's important. I mean, it's physical music. We'll see how long we can keep doing it. Right now we feel great and
Right.
we don't see any end in sight, but to be realistic, I mean, this is not going to get easier. So we'll see where it goes. But
Yeah.
I feel that there are many years ahead of us. As long as we keep track of the things that, you know, keep track of our physical health, really, you know, that's very important.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that's the more I speak to, you know, artists that have been doing it for a long time, they will say the same thing. I mean, we've got to keep ourselves in good shape. We can't, you know, we
Mhm.
can't afford to do the things we used to do. And yeah, I mean, a lot of guys are getting sober. A lot of guys are taking better care of themselves. I got sober 31 years ago. I stopped, and I'm glad, because I mean, I see a lot of
Mhm.
my friends that are my age, and it's like, wow, you know, it's a tough road when you fight it. I mean, I
Yeah.
think, and you feel better, you know, you just
Yep.
feel better. You feel lighter. You feel more energized. It's a good feeling when you're able to keep yourself in good shape. So, you
Yeah,
know,
it's a good hobby to have, I tell
it
people. You know,
really
I'm
is.
like, man, you know, if you can, there's so many cool things to be interested in if you have some spare time.
Yeah.
Why not make health one of them?
I,
You
I,
know what I
that's
mean?
great
Make
advice.
make make health your hobby, you know, like, oh, I'm going to cook this healthy meal tonight, or I'm going to find a place to run, or I'm going to do something new like stand up paddleboarding or whatever. You know,
Yeah.
there's all kinds of cool things that all kind of tie in to being healthy, and they're interesting to do. And yeah, you can have a whole hobby around being healthy. And anybody who's aging, it's going to benefit anybody. Well, we're all aging, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
anyone who's getting to that middle age, and even, man, I think the senior citizen discount's starting a couple more years for me. So looking forward to less expensive movies or whatever. But yeah,
Well, there
but
are little perks, right?
yeah, yeah. But everybody should keep track of these things, and
Right.
musicians and everybody else. But for sure, you know, getting back around to the question, yeah, death metal musicians have a lot to keep track of
Yeah.
physically, for sure. You know, you're banging your head, you're playing fast, and the drummers, forget it. That is just such hard work. I'm
Yeah.
sure it's something that they think about every time they get on the kit, you know, when you're regardless of age, but as you get older, it's not
Yeah.
going to get easier. So you
Well,
have to take care of yourself. Yeah.
it's, you know, a lot of the times in older bands that have been doing it for a while, it's the drummers or it's the singers. It's usually one of those two that's, you know, the guitar players and the bass players can usually hang on a little
Yep.
longer, but yeah, it's a tough one. But I mean, it's just life. It's the cycle, right?
Yep,
Uh,
it is. And I actually did have some hand problems, by the way. I was going to mention that for a little
yeah.
while, and I got through them with the help of a therapist and everything, but it's to be expected in a
Mhm.
way. I think, we are pushing ourselves. So if there's one more thing and then we can move on, I'd
Yeah,
say
of course.
ergonomics. Like
Yeah.
everybody who plays this music, try and figure out the best way to actually play.
Yeah.
Talk to a skilled teacher. Because even having one little thing wrong with your positioning as a drummer, bass player, guitarist, whatever, it might not be a problem in the beginning, but
Yeah.
after decades of playing with something just slightly wrong ergonomically, then problems can happen. It
Yeah.
just takes time. And so many of us are self-taught. A lot of us aren't playing in the best way, really,
Right.
like positionally. So it's a good thing to just kind of maybe just, if you're starting to feel some pain, reevaluate how you're holding your instrument.
Yeah. Good advice, and shoes too.